The world today is absolutely overflowing with information. I mean, everywhere you look,
That's a flood, isn't it?
totally. But how do we actually make sense of it all? How do we cut through the noise to find the insights that truly matter and, crucially, turn them into action?
Yeah.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into this really fascinating world where knowledge management meets cutting-edge artificial intelligence,
Right.
and how this fusion is transforming how organizations learn, operate, and, well, innovate.
It's really about how companies are not just collecting raw data anymore, but actively refining it, turning it into actionable intelligence.
Making things more efficient.
Exactly. Making their operations significantly more efficient, and even starting to predict future trends. And this is all driven by carefully managing their most valuable asset, knowledge itself.
Okay.
Our sources for this deep dive are pretty rich and varied. We're looking at foundational technical papers on things like graph databases and advanced AI models.
The heavy stuff.
Yeah, but also real-world strategic reports from
Right.
a major corporation, Johor Corporation, which really illustrates how these big ideas play out on the ground.
So our mission today is to unpack what knowledge truly signifies in our digital era, how these powerful AI tools are becoming our allies and leveraging it, and what this all means for pioneering organizations like Johor Corporation. Okay, let's explore this.
Let's do it.
So before we jump into the exciting AI landscape, maybe let's make sure we're on the same page about the foundation. What exactly is knowledge in an organizational context?
Yeah.
And how is it fundamentally different from just having, data or information?
It's a distinction that's often overlooked, I think, but it's absolutely crucial. The research we've looked at defines knowledge as justified beliefs about relationships among concepts relevant to that particular area.
Okay, justified beliefs. Sounds a bit academic. What does that mean practically?
Right. Think of it this way. Raw data is just facts, like a single temperature reading. Information is structured data, maybe a report showing average temperatures over a month. But knowledge goes beyond that. It's understanding why those temperatures matter, how they relate to climate patterns maybe, and what actions you should take based on that understanding.
Got it. So context, meaning.
Exactly. Context, meaning, and a foundation of belief derived from experience or study. It's not just the what, it's the why and the how.
So it's about going beyond just facts to truly understanding the why and the how. And I often hear about tacit versus explicit knowledge. What's the practical difference there for an organization trying to capture this stuff?
Precisely. Tacit knowledge is that classic idea of what we know more than we can tell. It's really difficult to articulate,
Right.
often residing within the heads of knowers, like the intuition a veteran engineer has for troubleshooting some complex machine, or the nuanced skill of a seasoned chef.
Stuff you can't just write down easily.
Exactly. Explicit knowledge, on the other hand, is codified. It's captured in tangible forms like documents, videos, blueprints, databases. And the core challenge for organizations has always been, how do you convert that invaluable tacit knowledge into explicit forms so it can be shared, scaled, and preserved?
That makes perfect sense. So knowledge isn't static. It feels like a living entity within an organization. How do our sources conceptualize this continuous motion? What does that dynamic process actually look like?
It's often conceptualized as the knowledge lifecycle, or KLC. The stages usually outlined in our sources are things like creation or discovery.
Finding new knowledge.
Right. Then capture or codification.
Writing it down.
Sort of. Then sharing or dissemination, utilization or application.
Right.
Actually using it.
Uh-huh.
And finally, updating or even retirement when knowledge becomes obsolete.
Yeah.
But the critical insight our sources emphasize is that AI isn't just a tool for one stage here. It acts as an accelerant across the entire cycle.
An accelerant. Interesting.
Yeah, it transforms traditionally slow, human-intensive processes into dynamic, almost real-time knowledge flows. This means organizations can react faster, learn at an unprecedented pace.
That's a powerful idea, AI as an accelerant. Looking back, though, how has the understanding of knowledge management evolved? Were there different generations of KRM, so to speak?
Absolutely. Early, let's call it first-generation KRM, focused largely on getting the right information to the right people at the right time.
Okay, like building better libraries or search engines.
Pretty much. Primarily enhancing knowledge deployment and integration.
Yeah.
But their research points to second-generation KRM evolving to emphasize knowledge production itself as a social process.
Knowledge production.
Yeah. Here, knowledge claims, which are essentially conjectures about actions for desired outcomes, are formulated, debated, evaluated. It's about building the organizational capacity to continuously produce and refine knowledge, not just find and retrieve it.
It sounds like it requires a really fundamental shift in how an organization operates, right down to its very culture. What are some of the biggest cultural hurdles, even before we bring AI into the mix?
You've hit on a crucial point there. A common challenge cited again and again in our sources is that the current organization culture does not encourage knowledge sharing.
Why not? People hoard it.
Sometimes. Maybe makes them feel indispensable, or there's just no incentive to share. That's why incentives are so crucial. Things like formal recognition or linking knowledge sharing directly to promotions, maybe even bonuses.
Ah, so tying it to rewards.
Exactly. Bain Company, for instance, provides one of its 2 annual awards specifically for embodying knowledge management and innovation goals. It's about making knowledge sharing part of the organizational DNA, not just a nice to have.
And what about leadership? Is there a specific role that champions this within an organization, like a knowledge czar or something?
Well, yeah, very often organizations appoint a chief knowledge officer or CKO.
CKO, okay.
And this role is truly multifaceted. Part technologist, investing in the right IT infrastructure, part environmentalist, creating social spaces and norms that encourage sharing.
Building the right atmosphere.
Right. And also acting as an entrepreneur and consultant, identifying new opportunities for knowledge leverage within the business.
So traditional KM clearly has this human champion, fostering culture, investing in tech. But as we look at the current wave of AI, it really begs an essential question. How does this established foundation of knowledge management not just accommodate AI, but become supercharged by it?
Exactly. This is where the story gets incredibly exciting as AI steps in, not just as another tool, but potentially as a core engine of knowledge itself.
Okay, here's where the transformation truly takes off. We're seeing AI systems that can do incredible things. I mean, generating sophisticated code, powering these hyper-intelligent chatbots. How do these modern AI tools integrate with and even revolutionize the knowledge management framework we just discussed?
Well, the research consistently shows that AI can dramatically enhance those core knowledge processes we talked about. Large language models, LLMs.
Like GPT-4 and others.
Exactly. And a newer concept, agentic AI, which are essentially autonomous AI systems that can plan and execute complex tasks, acting like a digital agent rather than just a passive model.
So they can do things.
Right. They can answer questions, solve problems, summarize vast amounts of data, even draft communications like emails or reports. But, and this is a big but, for these to be truly effective and trustworthy in an enterprise, they need to be grounded in factual, contextual knowledge that is relevant to that specific organization.
And that's where something called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, steps in to ground these powerful AIs, correct?
Exactly right. RAG is a really key approach here. The AI model first retrieves relevant documents or facts from an external, trusted knowledge repository.
Like the company's internal database or knowledge base?
Precisely. It looks things up before it generates an answer. This directly addresses that core KM concern of ensuring AI answers are based on explicit organizational knowledge, not just the model's general, often fuzzy, training memory.
Ah, so it reduces the making stuff up problem, hallucinations?
It drastically reduces AI hallucinations, yes. And importantly, it supports the crucial principle of a single source of truth and guarantees traceability because you can see where the information came from via references.
So RGA effectively forces the AI to look at the enterprise's internal books, so to speak, rather than just guessing based on its general training. That's a powerful distinction, Argy, ensuring AI is grounded in truth.
It is.
But how difficult is it for organizations to maintain those external knowledge repositories, especially in fast-changing industries? What are the practical challenges of keeping those books up to date and accurate for Argy to reliably draw from?
That's a brilliant question, and it's where human effort and good KOM practices become even more critical in the AI age. What's fascinating here is how RAG demands continuous knowledge capture and sharing in real time.
It puts pressure on the KM system itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It means that well-organized knowledge bases with robust taxonomies, intelligent tagging, clear ownership, all that foundational KMM stuff become absolutely critical. If your books aren't accurate or easily searchable, RBAG won't be able to retrieve the right information. Or it might retrieve the wrong stuff.
Garbage in, garbage out still applies.
More than ever. RAG truly is the AI age incarnation of knowledge search, and its effectiveness is directly proportional to the quality of the underlying knowledge base.
This leads us perfectly to a specific type of knowledge repository that's gaining immense traction in the AI world: knowledge graphs. What are they, and why are they seemingly so powerful for managing complex information?
Knowledge graphs are, well, a pretty revolutionary way to represent data. Instead of thinking in traditional rows and columns like a spreadsheet or database,
Yeah.
they organize information as nodes, which are entities like a person, a place, a product, a concept, and relationships that describe how those nodes are connected.
Okay, give me an example.
So you might have a node for Paris, which has a capital of relationship pointing to a France node. And that France node might have is a country in relationship to a Europe node. Nodes can have properties, like population for Paris, and relationships also have names, directions, and maybe even properties, like the start date of being a capital. It creates this rich, interconnected web of meaning.
So it's like a highly interconnected map of information where you can see all the relationships explicitly. What's the big advantage here compared to, say, a more traditional database system? Why go to the trouble?
Speed and flexibility primarily. Their core strength is that they are incredibly efficient when it comes to query speeds, even for deep and complex queries.
Deep queries, like asking complex questions.
Exactly, like finding connections that are many steps removed. One experiment our sources describe found that a graph database was significantly faster, orders of magnitude faster, in some cases than a relational database for finding complex connections like friends of friends of friends, relationships in a social network, especially as you go deeper.
Why is it so much faster?
It comes from something called native graph processing. Essentially, connected nodes physically point to each other in the storage. So traversing a relationship is like following a direct pointer, which is much faster than relying on indexes to find matching IDs across multiple tables, which is what traditional databases often have to do for complex joins.
Okay, I see. Like following threads directly instead of constantly looking things up in an index.
That's a good analogy. Imagine navigating a city with a perfect physical map versus trying to find directions by constantly looking up addresses in a phone book for each turn.
That speed and ability to traverse deep, complex connections sounds incredibly valuable for finding hidden insights. And how do AI models specifically work with these graphs to do something smart, not just store data, but use it?
Right. Graph neural networks, or GNNs, are really at the forefront here. These are specialized AI models designed to work directly on graph structures.
GNNs.
And specific types, like RGHE and RAGAT mentioned in our sources, are designed for what's called knowledge graph completion.
Completing the graph, like filling in the blanks.
Essentially, yes.
Right.
Predicting missing links or facts within the graph, or even identifying entirely new relationships that weren't explicitly stated but are likely true based on the patterns in the existing data.
How do they accomplish that sort of sophisticated prediction? It sounds almost like intuition.
Well, RGHET, for instance, uses a novel hierarchical attention mechanism. Think of it like this. When the AI looks at a node in the graph, say, a company, it doesn't treat all its connections or neighbors equally.
Okay.
It computes different weights, recognizing that not all neighboring relations are equally relevant, and not all neighboring entities are equally important.
Can you give a concrete example?
Sure. The sources use this one. If it's analyzing the Los Angeles Lakers node in a sports knowledge graph, the AI would learn that the sports team roster player relation is far more important to understanding the Lakers than, say, the sports team location relation.
Right. The players define the team more than the city in some contexts.
Exactly. And within the players connected via that roster relation, it would likely assign higher importance, higher attention to someone like Magic Johnson or Kobe Bryant, based on their centrality and connections within the graph, compared to a less prominent player. This allows the AI to distinguish the importance of local neighborhood information, leading to much more accurate predictions and understanding.
That ability to weigh importance and interpret nuanced connections within a knowledge graph sounds revolutionary. And our sources also mention another powerful AI architecture, transformer models, that leverage this attention idea too, right? Not just in graphs.
Yes, absolutely. Transformer models, which really power much of today's advanced AI, especially large language models, are built solely on attention mechanisms, dispensing with recurrence and convolutions entirely, as one source puts it.
So they only use attention.
Primarily, yes.
Yeah.
Imagine reading a long document.
Oh.
Your brain doesn't just process word by word in a strict linear order. It instinctively focuses on the most important words and how they relate to each other across the entire text, even if they're paragraphs apart.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what attention mechanisms enable AI models to do, efficiently grasp context and relationships in vast amounts of data, whether it's text, code, or even graph structures in some adaptations. It's revolutionized tasks like language translation and complex reasoning. They've proven superior in quality, more parallelizable for training, and require significantly less training time for many tasks compared to older architectures.
So attention is truly, well, maybe not all you need, but a huge part of it.
It's a fundamental building block for sure.
Okay, so beyond predicting missing links, how else can AI use these knowledge graphs for even deeper reasoning, like generating genuinely new insights?
This raises that really important question. How can AI go beyond just recalling facts or filling gaps to actually reasoning and generating new knowledge?
Yeah.
Our sources introduce a fascinating framework called Graph Preflexor for in situ graph reasoning and knowledge expansion. It's designed specifically to allow AI to develop abstract reasoning patterns and perform cross-domain reasoning.
Cross-domain reasoning. Can you give us a concrete example of what that means and why it's so potentially groundbreaking?
Certainly. This model is designed to identify isomorphisms.
Isomorphisms. Okay, big word.
Yeah. It basically means structural equivalences between objects or concepts from entirely different domains. For instance, the model might recognize that Newton's second law of motion, force versus mass acceleration, or EFMA, is structurally identical isomorphic to Ohm's law in electrical circuits, voltage occurrent equiresistance, or VIR,
Wait, how are they the same?
structurally. Both abstract to a fundamental relationship of YA called KX, one variable equals another variable multiplied by a constant factor.
Ah, I see the pattern. Y-X.
Exactly. By identifying such profound structural parallels, AI could theoretically transfer insights across seemingly unrelated fields. Imagine applying insights from fluid dynamics to understand traffic flow, or principles from network theory to optimize supply chains. It could potentially lead to uncovering new theories and equations. And this framework uses RAG to enrich the context and allows for dynamically growing the knowledge graph as these new insights are generated and validated.
That's truly mind-bending. It sounds like AI and KOM together are seriously pushing the boundaries of discovery and practical application. But with all this complex information and AI systems built upon it, what are the inherent risks? What are the critical dependencies an organization needs to nail to make this work reliably? What's the catch with these incredibly smart systems?
That's the vital counterbalance, isn't it? Data quality is absolutely foundational, non-negotiable.
Right. The old saying.
Garbage in, garbage out. It's truer than ever with AI. If the training data or the underlying knowledge base that ARD pulls from has errors, biases, or is outdated, the AI will learn or disseminate incorrect knowledge.
And you could end up making bad decisions based on faulty AI advice.
Precisely. This demands rigorous, ongoing processes for data cleansing, validation, and enrichment. You have to constantly curate your knowledge assets. Similarly, knowledge validation is crucial, verifying that captured knowledge is correct, reliable, and still relevant.
How do you validate knowledge?
Often it involves thorough subject matter expert SME review, getting human experts to check the facts and the reasoning. You might also use automated fact-checking tools where possible. The goal is to ensure the AI outputs are not just fast and clever, but consistently accurate and trustworthy.
Okay, so the human element remains absolutely critical for quality control.
Indispensable.
So we've talked about the theoretical underpinnings of knowledge and the cutting-edge AI tech that's redefining its management. Now let's bring it back to a powerful real-world example, Johor Corporation, or J Corp. How do these advanced concepts of knowledge management and AI actually play out in a large, diverse, multi-sector organization like J Corp?
Well, J Corp's J Corp 3.0 transformation journey, which they launched back in early 2020, really exemplifies an organization hitting reset in a way, rebuilding its foundations for future growth.
J Corp 3.0. Okay.
And a core pillar of this journey is explicitly digital transformation and also reinforcing governance. These align perfectly with that strategic imperative for organizations to adapt and really leverage knowledge for competitive advantage, especially in today's world. They clearly recognize the need to move beyond just having information to actively managing and deriving value from their collective knowledge.
And they operate in some pretty diverse sectors, don't they? That must present a huge knowledge management challenge in itself, just keeping track of everything.
Indeed. J Corp is strategically focused on 4 core sectors: agribusiness, wellness and healthcare, food and restaurants, and real estate and infrastructure.
Wow, that's broad.
It is. And each of these presents really unique opportunities, but also unique challenges for applying advanced knowledge management principles and AI. Imagine the distinct knowledge domains they have to integrate, manage, and maybe even cross-pollinate between those sectors.
Let's take the food and restaurant sector first. What specific applications of knowledge management or maybe AI have we seen in action there based on the reports?
Well, for instance, QSR Brands, which operates KFC and Pizza Hut in Malaysia, their reports suggest a really keen focus on customer-centric knowledge. It wasn't just luck that led to some of their innovations.
Like what?
Well, KFC Malaysia successfully boosted its branding by collaborating with a local streetwear label, Pestle and Mortar Clothing, releasing a limited collection of 11 finger-licking goods streetwear.
KFC streetwear. Okay.
Right. And Pizza Hut introduced novelties like durian cheese pizza and black volcano pizza, and even the singing pizza campaign, where pizza boxes doubled as digital musical boxes.
Pizza boxes.
Yeah. Now, these innovations likely stemmed from deeply analyzing customer feedback, market trends, maybe identifying that tacit knowledge within their sales and marketing teams about what resonates locally, and explicitly capturing customer preferences.
So turning customer whispers into actual products.
Exactly. You could imagine an AI sifting through social media sentiment, combining it with sales data, maybe loyalty card information, to proactively suggest these kinds of novel product ideas or marketing angles. That's knowledge management in action, turning raw customer signals into actionable product development and marketing.
That's a really creative way to use insights. What about their real estate and infrastructure division? That seems very different. Physical assets, long-term investments. How do KM and AI factor in there?
In real estate, our sources highlight how AI can dramatically enhance things like valuation accuracy, risk analysis, and investment foresight.
Making better bets on property.
Essentially, yes. And this connects directly to this idea of building digital twins of physical assets.
Digital twins. Virtual copies.
Exactly. Virtual replicas of buildings or infrastructure projects that can offer real-time monitoring and predictive maintenance. Imagine knowing a component is likely to fail before it actually does. Plus, optimizing for energy efficiency and sustainability.
Right.
J-Corp is spearheading some ambitious projects, like a big furniture park in Muar and expanding container operations at Tanjung Langsat Port. Applying KM principles here would mean systematically capturing best practices for project management, maybe risk mitigation strategies from past projects, and even using predictive analytics fueled by AI for market demand forecasts.
So AI could analyze construction data, maybe weather patterns, supply chain logistics.
To proactively identify potential delays or cost overruns, it brings data-driven insights to traditionally complex physical projects.
An agribusiness. That's a very different operation again, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with biology, weather.
Very different. Kulim, J-Corp's agribusiness arm, is strategically expanding beyond its traditional base in palm oil. They're moving into diverse agro-farming, cultivating pineapples, cattle, coconut.
Diversifying their crops.
Right. And they're also deeply involved in renewable energy, introducing biogas plants to convert palm oil mill effluent, that's POE, a waste product, into energy. They even have plans to commercialize biomethane.
Okay, so sustainability and new ventures.
Exactly. Now, this kind of diversification and operational improvement fundamentally requires significant knowledge transfer and applying new expertise. They're shifting from being primarily a traditional palm oil company to a broader, more sustainable agribusiness player.
That's a big knowledge shift.
It is. And this reflects that widening of knowledge needed for innovation. You can easily see how AI could play a role here optimizing crop yields by analyzing soil data, historical weather patterns, maybe even satellite imagery, bringing precision agriculture techniques to scale.
It sounds like they're really building a learning organization, constantly adapting and innovating across these different fields. What about their wellness and healthcare sector? That's very people-focused.
KPJ Healthcare, J-Corp's healthcare arm, reported significant growth in things like health tourism revenue and patient visits, which suggests strong patient trust and service quality. But critically, they also consistently received the HR Asia Best Companies to Work For in Asia award multiple times.
Ah, so employees are happy.
It highlights a strong and positive work culture and high level of engagement among their employees. And these cultural factors are absolutely critical enablers for knowledge sharing and retention, especially in the sector as knowledge intensive and high stakes as healthcare.
Happy staff share knowledge more readily.
Generally, yes. And beyond just the internal culture, their provision of Quan mobile clinics for vaccinations in underserved residential areas showcases how deep community knowledge understanding local needs can translate into impactful social initiatives as well.
So strong internal culture and external community engagement seem to be key elements that enable knowledge to flow effectively. It seems J Corp is actively addressing the people aspects of KOM, not just the tech.
Precisely. And that's crucial. For example, our sources indicate the plantation industry, which affect their agribusiness side, faced serious labor shortages and cost pressures in 2023.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
It led to substantial one-off recruitment costs for foreign workers and also increases in the minimum wage. This situation really underscores the critical importance of investing in people and culture change, including comprehensive training and upskilling. Our AI sources highlight this too. It's absolutely critical for successful AI adoption.
So the tech is only as good as the people using it and the culture supporting it.
You got it. You can have the best AI system in the world, but if your people aren't trained, aren't willing to use it, or aren't encouraged to share their own expertise to improve it, it won't yield its full potential.
Finally, let's touch on governance and risk management. For an organization of J Corp's scale and diversity, this must be paramount. How do these concepts tie into knowledge management and the responsible deployment of AI?
They're tightly linked. J Corp has established a robust risk management framework, notably aligned with international standards like ISO 31000.2018.
Okay, a formal process.
Yes, and they've also created a dedicated board sustainability committee to oversee their sustainability strategy and integrate ESG environmental, social, and governance principles right into their investment processes.
So governance is baked in at a high level.
Right, and this strong commitment to governance aligns directly with that KOM principle of explicit knowledge governance. This means having clear processes for how knowledge is managed, validated, and used, along with clear accountability for its accuracy and application.
Which is vital for AI, right?
Right.
Especially in regulated areas.
Absolutely vital for trustworthy AI deployment. You need transparency, reliability, and accountability. Their Rapid Innovation and Technology Excellence, or RITE, initiative also indicates they have a structured, strategic approach to managing their digital evolution, not just letting it happen randomly.
So what does this all mean for you, listening in? We've journeyed from some pretty abstract definitions of knowledge and these cutting-edge AI models that are powering its revolution, all the way to concrete examples from a major multi-sector corporation.
Yeah.
It seems clear that the future of business isn't just about accumulating more data or blindly deploying the fanciest AI tools. It's really about intelligently managing knowledge across its entire life cycle, constantly evolving how we learn as organizations.
And that means actively fostering a vibrant culture where knowledge sharing is the norm, not the exception. Continuously validating what we know through rigorous checks and balances, both human and potentially automated, and leveraging powerful tools like knowledge graphs and RAG to ensure our AI systems are not just intelligent, but consistently grounded in truth and relevant context.
Right. The goal seems to be designing a dynamic knowledge asset that works in seamless tandem with human decision makers. Creating this feedback-rich environment where every experience, whether it's human insight or an AI-driven analysis, contributes to better, more informed knowledge for everyone.
Exactly. It's a continuous learning loop, amplified by technology, but guided by human wisdom and rigorous process.
So this brings us to a final thought, something for you to mull over. In your own daily life, or perhaps within your own organization, what specific piece of tacit knowledge, that unspoken know-how, that intuition, that skill someone has, do you think holds the most transformative potential if it could be successfully captured, codified, and then integrated with AI? What's that hidden gem of knowledge? And maybe more importantly, what would be one small, practical first step you could take to begin that process of making it explicit and potentially shareable?